Hi, in this video we're going to go through proper neck stretches, and we're going to go through also two mistakes that a lot of people make that's going to decrease the effectiveness of your stretching program. Hi, Dr. Jasper here from musclewizard.net. Now, the proper way of stretching is by stretching in multiple directions. I see people stretching where they do a static stretch, for example, to tilt their head right to the side, and then they hold that position for 10 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, and that's it. What you have to realize is in the neck muscles, there's multiple muscles. There's not just one big muscle in the neck. So there's about, I can count maybe 5, 6 muscles in the neck, but they all go into different directions. So for example, if I'm stretching to the side, I may be hitting my upper traps. So a lot of people say, hey, to hit the upper traps, this is the exercise you should do. But what I'm also finding is that just the subtle changes in position is going to hit a different muscle. So instead of deciding which muscle to hit and go into a specific exercise, we want to hit them all, but we want to find out which is the right position that's going to stretch out the muscle that you feel like it needs a stretch. So for example, I'm going to maybe start off to the side, and if I don't feel a stretch in that position, then I'm going to slowly rotate my head and then bring my neck down. Now as I do this, maybe right there, I feel it right into this muscle. I'm going to hold that position regardless of what I think I'm hitting. So I'm going to bring it to the side, then I'm going to slowly keep rotating until I find a position where it's stretching. Hold that for about 30 seconds, and then we can move on to another spot. So as I'm flexing my head down, I'm rotating in the opposite direction, and then I keep going, and then right there, I'm feeling it going back here. And then if I go all the way, I may be feeling it right into this muscle. Now that's me. You could be totally different. But the big key thing is always multiple angles of stretches are the best. And once you find a spot that you feel you can really hold on to, hold it for about 30 seconds. Now, one of the biggest things I see is when people do this exercise, they'll go into these positions and keep going for about 2, 3, 4 minutes because they'll have multiple muscles that need to be stretched. As soon as you bring the head back to the middle, you're going to get a little bit dizzy because you're not used to it. So what I recommend is go start at the first spot and then keep moving until you find the right position where, hey, I need to stretch that muscle. Hold it for about 30 seconds and then bring your head back to the middle. Rest and then go back to that spot and then go a little bit further and further and further until you find the next muscle that you need to stretch. So it's all about stretching in multiple angles rather than a very static stretch. This is one stretch, this is another stretch. Don't worry about that because you're missing all the other subtle muscles in between. Now, one of the other mistakes that people make is when they're stretching, they've seen a lot of people do this stretch, and a lot of my patients who need to stretch in the shower, if they got a lot of trigger points in their muscles, they'll be seeing stretches like, if they Google this, of people flexing their neck forward, and then they actually have their hands over their head, stretching that muscle out. Now, I want to avoid this position as much as possible. There's a simple reason. The neck is not designed to be in this position. You don't want to keep stretching the neck in a position that most people are in all day. Also, when you're putting your neck in that position, your neck is getting a lot of stresses put into it. That's not a good position to put your neck in. So any exercise where you're going to forward flex the neck, I want you to avoid. Also, bring the hands and try to push it down is another thing I want you to avoid. Do all the angles except the forward flexion angle. Thanks, and we'll see you guys in the next video.